Ah, the dreaded likability question. This is my least favorite piece of feedback to get on my stories. I hate it. I hate it because there isn't necessarily one thing that you can do to fix it. Whether or not you like a character is just a feeling that you have, so it's really hard for the author to determine why a reader might be getting that feeling when the author themselves really likes their characters, or at least empathizes with them enough to have written about them for however many pages that they have. After receiving some feedback on stories in the past, I did a lot of thinking about what likability really means and how to improve the likability of your characters. So today I'm going to share with you what I know. You are going to walk away from this video with 10 tips as to how to improve the likability of your characters, as well as understand some common reasons why your readers might not like your characters. So what are some common reasons that your readers might think that your characters are unlikable? Well, the first is that your characters might act selfishly or self-absorbed. This is a pitfall that you can fall into when writing young adult, because a lot of teenagers can act in self-absorbed ways, or at least ways that come across as self-absorbed. When I was a teenager, I was definitely self-absorbed. I saw most things in my life in the context of how they related back to myself. While obviously I had empathy for other people and I cared about other people and I loved my family and my friends, the most important person in my life was me. I saw myself as the main character. I was really concerned about the way that everything in my life related to me. I was concerned about my appearance, about the way that other people would be perceiving me. I wanted the boys that I liked to like me. I wanted the friends that I wanted to be friends with to like me. I wanted to be wearing the right clothes. I didn't want anyone to see how awkward I felt, so my brain was constantly thinking about me. I'm not saying that every single teenager is like this. I'm not saying that there aren't adults that are also like this, but when you're writing books, especially if you're in a character's head the entire time, and all that character is doing is thinking about themselves, they're not going to come off as extremely empathetic, and they're actually probably going to come across as a little bit annoying. People are going to get pretty sick of reading about a character who's constantly worrying about their appearance and their friendships and whether or not people will like them and this, that, and the other, all relating to themselves. The second reason that your character might be coming across as unlikable is that they're too perfect. This one sounds pretty counterintuitive, because if a character is perfect, they also should be likable, right? No. If a character is beautiful and surrounded by people that they love and has absolutely no flaws, they're gonna come across as pretty boring. People won't be drawn to that character if they can't see part of themselves in that character. And because everybody has different insecurities or things that they're worried about, or maybe is a little harder on themselves in their heads than other people are about them in real life, then it might make it hard for your readers to connect to the character that's too perfect. And it also will probably be hard for your readers to root for that character, because if your character wants something, they are so perfect that they might not need anything else. A third reason why your character might not be likable is if they complain all the time. Nobody likes listening to a character who does nothing but complain and spew negativity about everyone else in your story. They're going to be insufferable, or if nothing is ever good enough for them, they're gonna come off as being a princess or being snobbish, basically just not a person that anybody wants to be friends with. The fourth reason is that maybe they're a little bit too controlling or rule following. Depending on how these characters are written, they can come across as a bit of a stick in the mud. If you have one character who is off living a normal life and another character who does nothing but rat that character out to the teacher or authority figures, complain that they've missed their curfew, nag on them onto whether or not they've done their homework. If you have one character who's just off living their normal life and you have another who's just constantly giving them a hard time for missing curfew, or giving them a hard time that they haven't done their homework yet, or being really controlling and rule following and ratting them out to teachers and authority figures, that character is not going to be very likable, especially if you're already rooting for the character that's just living their normal life. Fifth, if you have characters who are extremely judgmental. If you have characters that are just constantly mean to other sympathetic characters in your story, your readers are not going to be nice to them. And six, if they are useless at doing literally everything. If your character can't do anything, like if they can't do their laundry, or they can't fight bad guys, or they are afraid of washing the dishes, they are going to be really boring to read about because they can't contribute anything to your story, and it's also just going to be annoying and cringy to read about them just floundering and not being clever and being really dumb all the time. So with that being said, what are some things that you can do if you get feedback that maybe your character isn't likable to make them more likable? The first thing you can do is you can give them a traumatic past. This one doesn't always work, like it depends on the traumatic past and it also depends on the character. But if you give your character, who maybe is a little bit morally gray, a reason for being morally gray, then it can at least help readers sympathize with them and understand why they're doing what they're doing. If your character has trauma or has gone through something that justifies the way that they are acting, then even if their acting might be a little bit annoying, you can at least understand where they're coming from. The second thing you can do is that you can have something that they really struggle with. Are they bullied at school? Are they really shy? Are they really self-conscious about an aspect of their physicality or personality? If you can give a character that makes the readers go, "Aw, baby," when reading about it, then you might be on the right track to eliciting some sympathy for them. Like if you have a character who can be a little bit emotionally guarded and a little bit of a jerk to the other characters in the story, but they deep down are really self-conscious about their stutter and really just want to make friends or impress somebody. Even though they've done things that are morally gray, you're still endeared to them because they're suddenly kind of cute in your mind. 3, don't write mean characters. Obviously, this is kind of impossible if you're writing a villain, but don't make the characters that you want your readers to be empathizing for really mean to other characters in your story for no reason. It's one thing, obviously, if it's the villain and they want something and your hero also wants something and those two things clash. But if you have a hero and that hero has a best friend and you really want your readers to like your hero, and your hero is always mean to their best friend who just wants to be nice to them, then your hero is not going to be very sympathetic. It's also one thing if your hero gets mad at another character for a justifiable reason, that's totally fine, but it's the unjustified, mean comments that can maybe turn your readers against a character. 4, have your character save the cat. This is an idea from the popular screenwriting novel, Save the Cat. If you have your characters do something maybe towards the beginning of your novel that they don't have to do that shows that they are a kind and empathetic person, then it's going to show your readers that that character cares about other people, and everybody likes a character that is kind and cares about other people. 5, have that character care about the other characters in your book. Have them save a character from certain death. Have them do something kind for another character that they wouldn't usually do. Give that character someone else in the book that they really love and would do absolutely anything for. Like maybe you have a character who's a little bit grisly and rough around the edges, but there is another character who's the personification of literal sunshine who that other character would do absolutely anything for, and that makes them very endearing. Give them a significant other that they love more than life itself, or a pet or a sibling. Show that that character is capable of taking care of other people. That makes them endearing to your readers. You can also kind of flip this on its head and also have your other characters care about your main character. If there are other characters in the book that care about this character, then it indicates to your readers that there is something there to them and something that is worth caring about. 6, make your characters be vulnerable to the other characters in the book. Being vulnerable takes bravery, and if you have a character that opens up to the other characters in your book and shares stuff about themselves that may not all be pretty, that also endears your readers to them because it shows that they are trying to let other people in. 7, have your character stick up for the little guy. Have your character do the right thing even when it's hard. Maybe in order to do the right thing, they need to sacrifice something that they love. Have them do that anyway and give them values and morals that they stick to even at the highest stakes. That is something to respect and shows that they are an honorable character, which is something that other people can connect with. 8, show your character wanting to get better. Maybe you're writing a character who is kind of a total butthole, but maybe you can have them recognize that and show that they actually don't want to always be that way and learn how to get better. Learn how to treat people with kindness if they haven't in the past. Show that they want to improve themselves and to change and not hurt other people around them, and then show them taking active steps in order to do that. 9, have your characters be aware of their flaws. Maybe your character has a lot of flaws, but if they are able to be aware of the fact that they have flaws and understand that maybe they're not always like that, and they can poke fun at themselves or make self-deprecating jokes, then it makes it not quite as bad. Obviously, it's still bad that they have the flaws, but it makes them at least likable because they can poke fun of themselves as they're doing that. Obviously, it doesn't make it better that they have the flaws, especially if those flaws include them hurting other people, but if they're able to be self-aware and poke fun of themselves, it helps a little. And 10, finally, have your characters be funny. As readers, we are drawn to funny characters. Characters who use humor even at the darkest situations. Readers want to spend time reading about characters who are funny because it's really entertaining. So maybe your character could be a little mean, but if they're funny and genuinely funny, not funny at the expense of others, then your characters will probably want to be characters that your readers spend more time with, therefore making them more likable. So those are my 10 tips for character likability. This is a really hard thing to do, so if you are struggling to make your characters more likable, try incorporating a couple of things that are on this list. Not all of these things are hard to do, and not all of them require complete rewrites of the entire book. So if you're getting a lot of feedback that maybe one of the most important characters in your book isn't likable or difficult to connect with, try incorporating a couple of things and seeing whether or not that can help. Not every character in your book has to be likable. In fact, not any character in your book has to be likable if you don't want them to be. But having a couple of likable characters that your readers connect with and want to hear about will only help your book because it'll make the reading experience more enjoyable and make your readers want to read more of your story. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Claire Fraze. I'm an award-winning young adult author who makes videos every week telling you the actionable writing tips that helped me make my writing better. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like the video and to subscribe to my channel, and also drop me a comment down below. Have you ever struggled with making your characters likable before? Are you encountering a problem where maybe you're getting feedback that your characters aren't likable? Tell me in the comments and we can talk about it. Maybe I could suggest something that could help. Have a good week, everyone, and as always, happy writing.